All right, is a very warm welcome to you to 89.7 Contact FM. The show you're listening to is One on One. The Twitter handle is OneOnOneRW, and the hashtag to use for those who want to get interactive is hashtag 101RW. Our sincere apologies for taking more time to start the show, but of course we have been able to have our guest right here, and she is Honorable Susan Nakawuki. Right? Nakawuki, yes. Thank you so much for that correction. She is an EALA member, and of course we're here to shed some more light on the whole proceedings that are happening here in Kigali. Plus, of course, having talked to one of the members who was so aggressive in this whole issue of having the speaker out, it's better that we have someone who is from the other side, or who reasons at least differently from the other members who say that the speaker has to go. And you happen to be one of them who has a different opinion from what these other members are saying. But of course, I'll take you on the first statement that you made today on this radio during an interview, that you think that members are cheating East Africans. And the reason why you're basing your statement on is there is too much bickering going on, and it is taking too much time from the time that you need to be taking to talk about issues of integration. Let's pick from there. Could you explain more about this?
Thank you very much. Yes, I appreciate the fact that as members of EALA, we are representatives of the people in the countries where we come from, but at most to the East Africans in general. And we are paid to do this job for the East Africans because we can't have everyone in the assembly. This is a small assembly of 45 members. So for me, I feel it's an obligation that when I come to the assembly, I should touch the issues which concern East Africans, not personal issues as an individual.
So you think members are now being personal?
Yes, that's what I feel.
But if you look at the reasoning from some of them, especially Honorable Zain, who was here on the show, he was feeling that there is a misuse of power by the speaker. And then he feels that what his team is up to is using the constitutional measures or the legal arrangements in sorting out this whole issue. And so, in the opinion, probably this might not be a personal issue, but an issue of putting things in order. What's your opinion on that?
First of all, I should say I'm really disappointed in Honorable Zain as an individual because he's the chairperson for Regional Peace and Conflict Resolution Committee. And apparently is the chief architect of all the conflict in the House.
So he's the one creating all this noise?
Is the head right now, plus a few others. But for me, these issues that are happening are really personal issues that we should find an avenue or a platform to solve them. That's why even in courts of law, there's what they call alternative dispute resolution. The intention is to save courts valuable time. If a matter is seemingly small and can be handled outside court, you're required to first do alternative dispute resolution. Now, here we are as people representing East Africans. We come to the House, we bring in our personal issues. We even cause a standstill in the House. We say we are not going to discuss any issues of East Africans until we discuss issues of people who insulted each other. For me, this is conduct unbecoming, and I really feel that we are cheating East Africans if we continue like this. We've been here already. This is our second week. But since we came in on the 19th, we've not handled any single matter.
Not at all?
Not at all, because we come members here.
So what happened the whole of last week?
We would go to the House, and members like chairpersons of the committees like Honorable Zain would go there and say, I'm not tabling any reports, I'm not debating any matters until a member is suspended from the House because that member had an exchange with another member. And for me, that's not an issue to be brought in the House, because if we are all going to bring our personal issues from outside and import them into the House where there is even no law regulating them, then we are wrong.
So do you feel that then the speaker is failing at some point? Because she's supposed to be bringing the House to order and ensuring that there is disciplinary measures taken on members who seem not to be following the code of conduct. Do you feel then she's failing on that area?
Now, for me...
For allowing a House to sit for a whole week without doing anything?
For me, I feel this is a ploy to fail the speaker. It's us failing the speaker. Because there's this democracy, the so-called democracy. If the members say that today we are not going to work, Speaker cannot force them to work. But she will keep calling us back to work and we still refuse. And at the end of the day, we are not accountable to the Speaker, but to the taxpayer and our voters who actually sent us in this assembly. The Speaker is doing a job. But if members are failing to do their job, these things are intertwined. Those members wanted long ago to get rid of the Speaker. They wanted to censure her. We've had several meetings, even with our heads of state, to look into the accusations of the Speaker. I hear the Speaker called members adolescents. The Speaker withheld members per diem because members did not attend plenary. Our heads of state looked at these things. They looked into these matters. They called the Speaker to substantiate them, and they concluded that these were petty issues which did not even warrant attention. So, for me, the Speaker is doing her job. But us, the members of EALA, are failing to do our job.
So what do we do then as taxpayers? Do we ask for our money back? What do we do? How can we get you people accountable if you say the Speaker is doing her job, yet for a whole week, nothing has been done?
Actually, you said it, as you asked me, you said that we should hold people accountable. Every country, the parliament is the voting authority for members of EALA. The members of parliament should be able to call their members that they sent to the East African Legislative Assembly and ask them what is happening. In Rwanda, Honorable Hajabachiga is spearheading the conflict. She should probably be the first one to be called to explain. Because if they feel the Speaker has issues, how do we sort out these issues? Because in any case, none of us is perfect. She could have her miscomings as a human being. But are we going to capitalize on them? Are they so grave that they warrant a censure? Are they so grave that we cannot do other work and we should concentrate on them?
She may have her own miscomings. This is, I'm just speaking from your own words. So in all this that is going on, do you feel there is a point in all this where the Speaker is wrong?
Actually, for me, when this thing started in January, they needed my signature. But I asked for reasons as to why we should censure the Speaker. And with the reasons that were advanced, I didn't see any ground for censuring the Speaker. For instance, the issue of withholding per diem.
Yes.
When we go for our sessions, we are paid for 2 weeks because they're supposed to be there for 2 weeks. And usually what members do, they pick the per diem and they go and do other things. So in the second week, when you go for sessions, we don't have quorum. And our quorum dictates that out of 9 members from every partner state, at least 3 should be present at any particular time.
Yes.
But you find that we don't have even the 3. So as Speaker, she had to look out for a remedy, how to go about it. And her resolution was to pay members on a weekly basis. And members didn't take this in good vein. They felt like the Speaker was mistreating them and whatnot. But as a leader, you must be in position to take decisions, however unpopular they could be. And that's part of everything. And then other members are trading the issue of genocide, saying the Speaker is a genocide denier. And in fact, for me, this is a great abuse because genocide is not something small that we should just be playing with at any time for our own convenience.
Are there reasons that they're giving to explain their allegations?
Of course, they are saying that the third time, the members wanted to table a motion on genocide issues. The Speaker said it was late. Business of the House had been already set because the clerk draws the order paper, sends it to the Speaker for approval, and then it's sent to the members. But we actually, the first time we discussed the issues of genocide was here when we were here last year for our plenary.
Yes.
Because we visited the Genocide Memorial, and when we came back, a motion was tabled to ensure that acts of genocide never happen again in the East African region.
Yes.
Which was supported by everyone in the House. It was unanimous at that time. So Honorable Patricia brought it back when we were in Kampala. She brought it a day before we ended the session, and she wanted it like immediately. So Speaker's like, the order paper has been already drawn. Maybe we shall do that when we go to, the next session was supposed to be in Arusha. Honorable Hajabachiga took it badly. She felt like the Speaker just didn't want to attend to the issue of genocide. And that was the second time. But then when we went to Arusha, the speaker put it on the order paper and we debated it. So for me, I feel the speaker is being unfairly attacked, yes.
But there is an allegation, or there's a point that Zane's team is using to say that, look, we had a session where we decided that these sessions will be held in rotation. One time will be in Kigali, the other time will be in Arusha, in rotation. But they claim that the speaker wanted to stop this and have all these sessions held in Arusha for personal reasons. They say that it is more convenient for her if the sessions are held in Arusha. And these are some of the things that they're saying the speaker is misusing her powers and saying, hey, listen, I can decide where we hold our plenary sessions.
Now, let me tell you one thing, that if personally I'm a lawyer, but if I was presiding over a matter like that, and you bring it to me, I'll instead penalize you badly for wasting court's time. Because the issue apparently is, are we rotating or we are not rotating? We are rotating. And the speaker does not make decisions alone. There is a commission where the entire commission sits and they discuss how we should go as a house.
But it says members had to bring a motion to reaffirm this whole rotation issue.
Now, I want to give you facts. The commission sat over and over again over that matter of whether we should rotate or not rotate. And they came up with a joint resolution that for 1 year we should all sit in Arusha. For 1 year. It's only one member, Honorable Bazivamo Christopher, who came up with a minority report that we should continue rotating. The rest of the members were for us to sit in Arusha for the 1 year. You know, the commission has 2 members from every partner state. That means 10 MPs. It's chaired by the speaker. There is a clerk who is the secretary to the commission, and then the chair, Council of Ministers. It's only one member. If you want the record, it's there.
It's there.
With Honorable Bazivamo alone opposing to the sitting in Arusha.
And it was not the speaker.
And it was not the speaker. Because the speaker is just the chair, so it's by majority. Even the members, among the members who want to remove the speaker, were the ones who are saying that we should sit in Arusha, and it's on record. But then, it turned out that many members were opposed to it. Those ones who are not in commission. In fact, members were saying we should disband the commission itself for this, because they took a unanimous decision minus consulting the members. So what the speaker did was to bring the whole matter in the House so that we vote on it. And that's what happened. Majority voted in favor of continuing with the rotation. And in fact, it doesn't favor the speaker in any way. Because when we sit in Arusha, she doesn't get per diem. We get. We are paid $560 per day, $560 US per day that we sit. When we are in Arusha, the speaker gets nothing.
But why would she get per diem when she's operating in her workstation, in her home area?
Exactly. That's why she doesn't get. So, but I think everyone will be like, I'm better off going to another country and paid my per diem. Maybe I can save something. So for me, I don't feel it favors her in any way. But in any case, when it was brought to the House, it could have been her opinion.
Okay.
But it was brought to the House. We voted on it. When the majority said you want to continue rotating, including myself, I said I need to know Rwanda more. I need to know Burundi more and whatnot.
Other EAC countries more.
We took the day and she gave it up. Since then, we've been rotating. Now, why should we be trading it at this point in time when we are rotating?
So let's look at the scenarios now, because there are people who are now looking at this whole, issue from another perspective and saying, if things go on like this, there probably are well-wishers who would like to support the East African community integration process and support certain institutions, EALA being part of them. And when they see and hear this bickering going on, don't you feel that it disadvantages the integration process?
Yes, actually, I feel it's unfortunate because the public out there is so expectant. They expect a lot from us. They expect that anytime we are sitting, we are meeting to discuss issues of how we are going to foster this integration. Because we are talking about the monetary union, which we've not yet achieved. So people need feedback of how far we are with the monetary union. We are talking of the customs union, common markets, how far we are. But now, instead of coming to discuss how do we actualize everything that is on paper? How do we actualize the protocols? How do we actualize the acts of parliament that we have in place? We are fighting ourselves because one member abused the other. And in fact, for me, I feel if we are going now to start bringing all our personal issues from wherever and we bring them to the House, then we'll never be able to discuss anything constructive for East Africans.
So, Honorable Member of the EALA, will I be in order if I say that, then that you and your colleagues are or could be the ones who are delaying the integration process? Because this is the legislative arm of the community, the integration process. We need this arm to be able to function in the or implementing other protocols and so on. And so with all this, staying for a whole week, a whole week wasted without having to discuss some of these bills that you've talked about, will I be in order to say that you and your members are to blame for this delays?
Actually, right now, I would 100% concur with you, because I would really say without any shame that since January, we are in these wars, we are bickering. We are not doing something substantial. For example, today we had the Cooperative Societies Bill. The farmers are out there, they are yearning for it, to the level that they even had to sponsor the committee to do the groundwork, to come up with this bill. They sponsored themselves. It wasn't sponsored by the community. But now today it came on the order paper and we could not discuss it because we have issues that we failed to sort from out there. We want them on the floor of the House before we can do anything. So I just feel it's unfortunate, and this is not the way we should really proceed with these issues.
Let's bring in this issue of misconduct of a particular member, which seems to be, the bone of contention at some level in all these issues. One thing that I don't know if it's proper for me to call it Tim Zane says is that this individual is associated with the speaker, or they have an alliance with the speaker, including you, that now it is not easy for the speaker to, allow for punitive measures to be taken on this individual member. And therefore, it creates an unfair way of dealing with issues in the House.
Sure, thank you so much. I would first of all inform you that at the start, when the whole censure business started, this member who is currently being accused or victimized was among those ones collecting signatures to censure the speaker. They would sit together and plot. But after some time, she sat down and did self-reflection and said, really, am I being fair? Are we really censuring the speaker for the right reasons, or is for selfish reasons? So they sat as their chapter, the Tanzanian chapter, and they said, there we see these things, they've been handling them, we are not being fair to the speaker. So they withdrew their signatures and they said from that day they were not interested in the matter anymore. But they'd been on board. Unlike me, for me from the start,
yes,
I said I needed reasons, which I didn't see, so I was not party to the whole censure.
Yes.
Now, this member, where they went, where I wasn't anyway, in Brussels, one member still of EALA was insulting the speaker on the bus. It's something that happened on the bus. And now I'm giving you hearsay. And because the speaker couldn't answer for her, she opted to keep quiet, maybe because she's a leader and she's mature in mind. She decided to keep quiet. So this member who is being accused actually decided to say, no, you cannot insult the speaker in my presence, and I just look on. So they started exchanging bitter words. In fact, this whole thing of involving heads of state is just to give this accusation some legs and some meat, to popularize it. But from what I hear, it's not the case. It was just an argument between two members. And this is not the first time. Members have insulted each other before. Members have insulted the speaker, including on the floor of the House. If you go and read our answer, you will see it. But as the speaker, she follows the rules of procedure of the House. When you read our rules of procedure, speaker can only discipline a member on something that has happened on the floor of the House.
Not outside.
Not outside. Our laws are silent on what happens outside the House. And even inside the House, the speaker's powers are limited because our rules say she can name the member and caution.
And it ends there.
And it ends there.
So,
and in fact, that's why one member today moved the motion that we first handle our rules of procedure so that
it solves this whole issue.
So that we the law doesn't act retrospectively, but it can cure future occurrences. So that if you provide for conduct of a member outside the assembly, in case it happens again,
Yes.
we can solve it using our rules. But not that it's going to act on something that happened in Brussels some time back. So if really members want to work, the moment we finish with amending our rules of procedure to cater for all these occurrences, we should be good to go.
So talking of the issue of involvement of other forces that may be, today the Secretary General of the East African Community, Ambassador Richard Sezibera, added his voice into all these things that is going on. And he had to openly say that it is so unfortunate that such things are happening, and urged members to really focus on what they are supposed to be doing. So do you feel then that there is an end to this coming anytime soon? And what would be done to bring an end to this?
Now, I will not guarantee you that the end to this whole thing is coming very soon, because it all started in January.
And we're almost at the end of the year.
Yeah, the ministers tried to intervene. The heads of state tried to intervene because they wanted to hear us out. They wanted to give us an audience. And still, the issue of speakership was a bit rectified. But still, members are looking for any other issues they can drag the speaker in to make sure that they get rid of the speaker. In fact, I personally had time today to talk to the Secretary General to see if he himself now, because having been from Rwanda, at least he can have an influence on the members from Rwanda. You know, you sit with your members down, and even other chapters, because a lot of people listen to the Secretary General, to see that we put an end to this. And then we give the taxpayer value for money. Because for me, I feel it would have been better if members didn't come at all. Because we fly business class, they pay for tickets. And then we are paid per day. Only to come here and say we are adjourning without doing any work. So if at least we just leave that money, we don't spend it, and maybe we use it for sensitization purposes for members of the public to know what is actually happening. Other than pocketing the money, we are not returning it, but we are not working at the same time. So maybe we need spiritual intervention.
Spiritual intervention.
Yes.
But then if we were to look at things from a different perspective and said, if the speaker sees that this whole issue is probably dragging the whole process, there's no business going on, what if she just decided to step down? Would that scenario occur? Do you think it would offer probably some solution to this whole issue?
Well, that's your opinion, but I would not encourage her to step down unless she knows she has done something wrong. You know, in law, there is a principle of subsequent conduct. How you conduct yourself after something has happened can determine whether you're guilty or you're innocent to some extent. So for me, for the speaker to step down when she has done nothing, I don't understand it. If I were her, even if you want to investigate me, I will not stand down for any reason. I will stand there to be investigated, and I'll come out clean. But
some people are saying that maybe she's being misadvised in all this. And probably, we have seen leaders at some situation who have given up, some personal ambitions or even some leadership positions for the sake of continuity of certain processes. And this is where I'm coming from in this question.
Then the question is, who is misadvising her? Because you can take my advice to be ill advice, and somebody else would take it to be smart advice. That's why you find even presidents have advisors. It's not that they don't know what they're doing, but they need also a second opinion. But whoever is saying the speaker is being misadvised, I really don't get it, because she's free to take advice, and I know many members talk to her. Many members could give their proposals. She's not supposed to actually disregard what other members are telling her. She also has to look at it and weigh and see whether it makes sense or it doesn't make sense, and pick only what is important, because she's an adult of sound mind. She's above 18. She has capacity to take decisions. Even if you advise her, she can choose to take your advice or to leave it.
Or not take it. So as we close, looking at this whole scenario, is there anything good that we can talk about today that probably those who are listening and thinking about EALA, because most of them, this is what probably is coming to their media, their TV stations, the radio that they listen to. Maybe this is the only information they know that is going on at EALA. Is there anything good we can talk about? Is there anything we can touch and say, this is what we've been able to achieve, to do so far?
Well, there are lots of good things that we can look at. Looking at the mandate of EALA, Article 49 of the Treaty for the Establishment of the East African Community clearly stipulates the role of the Assembly. But I would say EALA has made big strides, at least the Third Assembly. For the last 2.5 years, we've been in the Third Assembly, we've made big strides. We've come up with legislation which will help foster the integration, like the one-stop border post bill, which was passed last year. It will help speed the business in the community. We have the axle load control, among others. That has been a job of EALA. Most of these bills have come as private members' bills. Others have been brought by the Council of Ministers. We've taken big strides towards the common market. Members are so concerned with the way business is done in the community, how much time trucks take to move from one port of entry to the other. These are all been strides of EALA. We've done a great deal via sensitization of the public. I know it's not yet good enough, but at least we've taken strides. Issues have already
it's not a case of 10 steps forward and 30 more backwards, looking at all this that is going on.
No, but I know we've taken like 2 steps backwards, but we are taking 10 steps forward.
Okay. So in conclusion, could you talk to then the members who are, maybe against the speaker, those who you feel are wrongly doing so because you have stated your position in all this issue? If you could just look into this camera and talk to Zain and his colleagues, those who you feel need to be addressed in this whole issue, and maybe also the public on this whole issue. Give them some hope that probably something is going to be done to stop this, because you just said earlier that the light is not being seen to be anytime, close to be seen at the end of this tunnel. Just look at that camera and talk to them. Well,
I would urge my colleagues to get over self. We put our personal differences aside and set a scale of preference. And on our scale of preference, put the people of East Africa first. Apparently, it's not the issue of having challenges that defines us as members of the East African Legislative Assembly, but our capacity to solve these challenges. We have the capacity to solve these issues without even having to drag the East Africans in them, but also serve the best interests of the people of East Africa. That's my plea to my colleagues. And also to the people of East Africa. Don't lose hope. There is a ray of light. Some of us and our colleagues who are probably annoyed will get over their anger, and we work in the same vein we've been working in the last 2 years to take the integration forward.
Okay.
And I hope that next time we come back to Kigali, we are going to be informing them of how far we've gone on all the pillars of integration.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Susan, for your time, Asante. And of course, we are also closely monitoring this whole situation, and also looking for some good spots, some, good stories to report about. We don't just want to clog our airtime with just the fights and all that. We're looking for the good news as well. And therefore, we're hoping that this whole stalemate will be sorted out as soon as possible. Thank you so much. There you have it. One-on-one comes to an end. There you go. And of course, we're hoping that we'll still be able to get the speaker herself to be able to talk to us personally on these whole issues right here. My name is Eugene Anangwe. Goodbye for now.